Hi there. All right, we're going to talk really quickly about the seeds that we're going to start today, which is going to be onions. This is my seed box. We've already discussed the fact that I'm insane, so this shouldn't really come as a surprise to you. This is what I currently have. I picked this up at Michael's. It's, some people use the photo storage boxes. That's highly organized, and while I love that idea, I also like to be able to do this, which is like, come in here. These are all of my direct sow spring seeds that I pulled already for the community garden and my garden at home. So these are little ones that were gifted. They're not direct sow, but these are my spring direct sow seeds that I've pulled already. But this is what my seed box currently looks like. It might be alphabetized for the most part. So we've got, I've got a lot of different varieties of basil. MI Gardener is my new seed love, my current seed love. They had a fantastic end of season sale where it was a buy one get one free. They're already only 99 cents. So I definitely experienced some must have all the things. So we're just going to go through. They're alphabetized by type of plant. So we're just going to come back here and find our onions. So we've got one. This is Pantry that I grew last year. That was really successful. This is a packet that was given to me by a local gardener. And this is another packet that was given to me by a local gardener. These somehow got separated from the other onions. She also gave me this packet. This packet says right on it that it's bunching onions. I haven't. We're gonna think about that when we look up these other varieties, because I would love to have at least three varieties this year. So she gave me those. And this packet does have some information on it. I don't know what these are. White spear onions. My guess is that they're a bunching onion, but I'm not positive. And I haven't heard of Reimer seeds either. These are from High Mowing red carpet onion. I'm not sure if these are going to be bunching or bulb either. Okay, so we're gonna go look these two up, and then we're gonna come back here and I'm gonna walk you through my seed starting process. All right. Okay, so let's look up these seeds. So I've got the red carpet F1 onion from High Mowing. These were, again, these were gifted to me by a local gardener who was looking to move some of her seeds on. She's scaling back. So these are, let's see, so I Googled them and it says that these are a long day, which is perfect because this is a long day region. Magnificent magenta interior rings. Okay, so this is a red onion. That's great. Okay, so we'll definitely be starting these for the community garden. Now let's look up these guys. Reimer seeds, I haven't heard of them before. White spear onions. Okay, so these are a bunching onion. So as you can see here, they are 65 days versus 116 days. So there's definitely, they are faster. So let's see. Open pollinated, good quality thick white. So these are like a green onion. Be left in the ground in winter. Okay. These sound great. I wasn't planning to, let's look at the planting instructions. I wasn't planning on having bunching onions in the community garden. So let's see here. We're gonna germinate at 50 degrees and so they could, okay, so you plant them in the spring. This says days to harvest is 90 to 120 days. So I'm not sure. Should be planted indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the ground can be worked, or they can be planted directly in the garden. Should occur as soon as blah, 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 etc. and so forth. Okay, so I hadn't planned on having bunching onions in the community garden. So I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not to grow these. No reviews. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to skip these this year, but we're definitely going to start the red carpet onions. I'm doing bunching onions at home, so maybe I will use some of these seeds there to test them out for next year and decide if I want to have bunching onions next year, because I wasn't planning on having them in the garden this year. So as tempting as it is to start something else, I'd have to displace something else that I already allocated space to. I have a bad habit of doing that, so I'm not going to do that for the bunching onions, because I have a huge section of the garden set aside for onions, and I'm just going to stick to the varieties that I have. Okay, so just while we're here at the computer, let's take a look. 85 plants is what is an estimate is what I need. Okay, so let's go work on our seeds. We're going to talk about the seeds we're going to start, and then we'll start them. All right, so I went ahead and I prepped my containers. I did watch the My Gardener onion video. He uses 4x4 containers that he cuts open. I don't have any that big. I became concerned about the half trays being too big to do what needs to be done in terms of pulling the onions apart carefully without damaging the plants. So I'm using these, I believe they're 2.5-inch pots. They're flimsy, so it'll be easy to cut them apart. They were inexpensive. I don't remember how much they were. I bought them off of Amazon last growing season. So I'm going to use these. I filled them with the seed starting mix that I showed you earlier. I have to be honest, I probably wouldn't buy the seed start mix again. It has really large pieces of sticks, which is good from the perspective that means there's real organic matter in here. But I also found a pretty large rock in there. I feel like that shouldn't be in there. So I filled these cups with some damp potting mix, seed starting mix. I never really understood what the difference is between seed starting mix and regular potting soil. And basically, seed starting mix is going to be really loose. It's going to hold moisture. It's going to create the air pockets that are needed for root development and things like that without being too heavy. If you try to plant in regular dirt, things that you could start in seed mix, they might not grow as well or as quickly as they will if you start them in seed starting mix. Roots and Refuge just did a video the other day that explained that a little bit better. So I've been using seed starting mix, but now I understand better why. So I found on Amazon this huge box of labels. I really have no excuses as to why I'm not labeling my plants this year. So this year when I'm walking through the garden and telling you what things are, I should have a better idea of what they actually are, instead of saying things like, I don't know, I think it's a rainbow something or other. So I went ahead and I made the labels for these pots. From looking at the garden plan, I need somewhere around 80 plants. So since I'm doing 3 varieties, I was thinking 30 plants of each, and then I can choose the best of the bunch and I'll have some extras, which is always a good problem to have, is to have too many plants, because then you don't have empty space in your garden that could be being used to grow food. So if I'm looking for about 30 plants of each type, and I've got 4 pots for each one, let's do about 20 seeds in each of these pots. And then, so I'm going to put 20 seeds of each of these varieties in, unless I don't have 20, then I'll just use whatever I have in each of these pots. Like this one, I think was already opened. It doesn't feel like there's that many still in there. This is brand new, so I'll probably wind up filling in the blanks with these, so I'm gonna have to rewrite my labels. And I did use some of these last year, so I'm not totally sure how many are still in there. So I'm gonna start with the 2 that were already opened and do as many of those as I can, and then do the rest the Texas Early Grano. So this I purchased from my gardener. It's just a, I don't think I talked about this before, it's just a nice basic onion. Same thing with these, basic onion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle those seeds across the dirt. Press them in lightly, put a little sprinkling of dirt. I'm gonna water them from below, and then I'll check back in with you once I've moved these over to the grow stand. Okay? Okay, so here we are at the grow stand. I rearranged everything in the tray because I'm going to go ahead and use the cover that I have because I have it. So let's start by turning on these lights. So we've got the thing on. Okay, now this one goes to the middle timer. Of course, that's the hard one to get to. So when I can get to that in a minute, I'm just going to switch it to the timer function. And then, oh, maybe that's, I'm just going to switch it to the timer function, and then I will set it so that it gets lots of light. I did pre-moisten the seed starting mix, but I'm just gonna pour some water in the bottom here. I really prefer bottom watering my seed starts. It's a lot less likely that they get overwatered that way. Honestly, I'm putting way more water in here than I should, but I probably won't be back here until Monday, so I just want to make sure that they're going to have enough water over the weekend. So we're going to do that. And this, I can't tell really how damp this seed starting mix actually is. It didn't really get uniformly damp when I pre-moistened it. So I'm going to put these under here. I am going to drop the lights down lower so that they get more heat. The heat probably won't be up very high in the building this weekend, so I just want to make sure they get lots of heat so that they can start. And now I'm just going to go clean up my my seed starting mess from the table in the back, and we'll check in on these guys next week and see if we have any sprouts. All right, thanks for joining me.